Okay, DCS says I got about says I got 3 hours in the F-18 and I've done 18 landings, but so it must be counting go arounds and I've died a few times. At the beginning, I wasn't really too familiar with this and decided to just give it a try before I even figured out how to do anything in it. Uh, I did today. I think I did a landing before. I think I did one before, and the tail hook wasn't down. I did maybe 6 tries yesterday when I just loaded it up after I went to. I mean, I literally just went in adjust controls and put in axis commands and halfway got my axis in that I needed for it. You know, joystick, rudders, da 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 da. Then mapped a few view. Then as I saw I was missing stuff, mapped them in. I don't even have gear in, you know. I didn't know how to put down flaps. I had to figure the flaps in this thing are got 4 options between auto and I'm not gonna go. This is about the carrier line, so we're gonna stay with it. Okay, so let's. Anyway, for summary here, I'm gonna do 5 carrier landings. I'm gonna show from in the cockpit at normal time. As we see, I'm doing the same one period. We may speed up time a little bit. I think it's about 20 tries, 28 tries. A lot of them I'm not going to show. I mean, I only recorded the landings, so there were lots of them that I touched down and did a go around. It didn't catch a hook. So here we go. We'll get back in the cockpit and I'm going to go down to every time I'm going to hit idle when I start out. Well, let's just first say I don't have the TACAN turned on. There's some sort of ILS system. TACAN will tell you how far you are from the character and what direction it is. And the ILS will give you what that floss is giving you, a glide slope. I don't have that on. I'm not really. I'm at one weight. For this weight, I should be about 130 to 135, maybe 134, maybe. That's what I figured out. So I'm not really flying AOA. I'm flying that and just watching my AOA indicator. The lights on the left, not the actual gauge or that thing moving around. So I'm not doing a military pattern. What I should do is fly the character to the carrier and then do, I think, I forgot the name they called a carrier pattern 1 or carrier. They have a name for it in the Navy. I tried to Google search it for the Air Force pattern, could find it, but it's a 1,500-foot fast pattern, and this is a 800-foot fast pattern. But I'm just doing a straight in. I just want to learn how to land it on a carrier. So let's proceed with this. Let's get out of pause and go. Okay, so I think we're okay. We haven't put anything down. We're just kind of sitting here. If you don't know this, I'm going to be watching my RPM, engine RPM. I can't see this right here. Watching my airspeed, watching my vertical drop rate. What else am I watching? Not watching that. I'm really watching this because it's clear. Flaps are on auto here. So, if flaps are on auto, it's weird. I wonder if I can look down. Why does this thing say flaps full? That thing says flap auto, half full. Oh, maybe flaps aren't auto. They're just, yeah, my mistake. Flaps were coming down then, so. Here. This thing, let me teach y'all some HUD symbology. That's my airspeed. That's my altitude. That's my descent, vertical velocity. This is where my aircraft is going. It's called a velocity vector. This is where my nose is pointed. The difference between those two is angle of attack. So, HUD aircraft are as long as you recognize that velocity vector has some lag, it makes, for me, it makes just getting in a plane you don't know and a lot easier to fly than just a plane without a HUD. Okay, okay, the FLOLS, flows. You fly to the green. You fly the yellow up to the green. It works the opposite of the ILS vertical bar. The ILS vertical bar, you would fly towards the vertical bar, but this, you fly to, think of the yellow thing as your aircraft, and you want to get it on the green. And that's your glide slope. It's saying, telling you nothing about whether your nose is up, your nose is down, or whether you're going down at 1,000 feet per second or you're in level flight. It's just, are you somewhere on the glide slope? But to stay on the glide slope, you'll be having to go down at 3 degrees. That velocity vector would have to be 3 degrees low. And I guess since it's going towards the aircraft carrier, if you kept it there, you'd fly right down if you did it perfectly. This one landing, I went to the wrong ship, and when I saw the flow, so I had to correct it and do a lot of horizontal stuff, but I think I got lucky on it. I mean, it's kind of luck because I'm a little bit all over the place. I don't think I'd figure, I remembered that velocity vector, if you're going to try to fly that to the ship, you're going to porpoise all over the place because I think it lags. So I tried to put the water line where I needed it to be, somewhere around 5, and then just glance at the velocity vector and really focus more on my airspeed and my throttle. You know, if my airspeed's low, let's put just a little bit of throttle in. Okay, so let's keep talking. I mean, let's don't talk and let's get this video done. I need an audience to tell me. Keep this thing going. So we're also going to show the external view of it, but on the external view, we're just going to speed up time, which is a good thing about DCS. I wish this replay feature had a rewind, but it doesn't. So it is what it is. It does have a pause. You go back to time normal and then speed it up. So that's the DCS. It's a cool thing. So we're just trying to right when we get before the ship. The thing on the left is the aircraft carrier. See, I went to the wrong ship here, so I had that at the last minute. We'll watch this in normal time. Normal time. So I screwed up. So I'm having to fix the problem here. So I'm really angled off on the runway. I mean, the runway's way over here, so I'm going to have to fix this. So I did a pretty good job fixing it. So, I don't know. It's one of those things I don't think you do in real life. But look how curved those strakes are. Those leading edge strakes. I never realized they were so curved. I think that old F-18 I flew, it was like polygons. It was all gray, and the polygons were much smaller. But yeah, so I do all right with this, I think. Let's zoom back a little bit. And the game graphics, I have it on blur, so things far away are blurred, but I could change that. So I'm not going to do it because I'll probably have to reload the game, but you can get this video done. Let's see the touchdown here. So I can slow down time so we can see the touchdown. I have to pause it though to have a good, for the views, for some reason, when it slows down time, the view thing becomes unresponsive. We'll go half speed till we get close to the ship. And we'll slow it down, see what hook we catch. I think I know I catch the perfect hook. I get lucky and catch the perfect hook. No, I catch the first hook on that one. I'm used to, you know, since I've been playing fly, I'm trying to hit the numbers on the runway when I land. which is probably not a lot of margin to give yourself. So you'll often see me just drag, and if I get low on glide slope, or I barely make the runway lots of times. It's almost it's dangerous, but I'm just trying to hit the numbers. So it's probably I got to break that habit for carriers. You're trying to hit the middle of the deck. So yeah, so let's don't talk. Let's pause it. We've shown that's landing number 1. Close. Landing number 2. That's a guess at the number of tries, but okay, landing number 2. So the first thing, I don't know if we saw it real well, but I'm going to look down, and the main things I'm setting are some lights. I'm turning off the anti-braking. I thought I heard you should do that. But the main thing I'm setting is my flaps to full, and there's a hook bypass that I'm putting on carrier. I don't know if the landing lights, they certainly don't matter, but for a simulation. And then I'm putting the hook down. And then the first thing I do before I do that is I get my throttle to idle and put in maybe 1 click up trim, maybe 2. And yeah, put my gear down. I don't. Other planes, there's some place you can look in. I see 3 green, but I don't see a place to check my gears actually came down. Then look outside the plane, or the light or the red light on the handle went out. But 5 minutes. There's been a number of times that I'm like, is it? And I can't tell from the handle position which one's up and down for this. But I'll get used to it as I get. Like I've got 3 hours in the plane, so I don't know. But see that velocity, I'm doing a descent. I'm trying to get to about 1,000 feet. Sometimes I go for 1,000, sometimes I don't. I'm not sure the distance that the flows comes on. I mean, I thought I flew over it once and never showed up. So after that I started descending down. I mean, if I descend down to 1,000, I'm going to hit it later than if I stayed at 1,500 feet. And I could get more practice flying that glide slope. But the throttles, I'm trying to keep them about 85% and then put it up to 87, 88, down to 83 if I need to go. And I'm using throttles to move up and down, and then later correcting with just a click of down trim or just a slight movement on the stick. I'm trying to keep it trimmed up the whole time through. If I don't screw up real bad, I do. But and I don't think any of these I got real in a bad porpoise mode. I thought earlier I did a few, but maybe I didn't save them. Or maybe this one does porpoise a lot, and I got a landing in, but I was like, I'm chasing the velocity vector. Yeah, this one, I said I got to start flying that watermark more to get my attitude and check the velocity vector instead of fly the velocity vector. So, and I'm think the real plane does that. I've flown the C5 sim and the C-130 sim. C-130 had a HUD and I landed on the first try without even looking at the dash one. C5 took me 2 or 3 tries. I think it's 2. Yeah, I think it's 2 because I was pretty proud of myself because it didn't have a HUD. And it's way, I've never flown a plane, so, I mean, the C-130 is high off the ground, but the C5 is way off the ground. Okay, I'm supposed to be talking about this, not me. Okay, so I landed it. I was at 134 when we hit. I think we hit in the middle. So I thought that was pretty good, but I was all over the place, so I concluded I need to, so we'll watch the touch. I don't know, do we want to watch the touchdown every day? Yeah, we'll watch the touchdown. Okay, so for each one of these, we're going to watch it in the plane, and then we're going to go and just fast forward and look at from exterior. Start getting times sped up. But see, we're at 5x speed, so there you see all the stuff coming down. We got gear, we got a hook there. See me cycling the air brakes. So I think on this one, yeah, this is the one that's all over the place. So we should see our nose going up and down, up and down. Because I'm trying to put that velocity vector where I want it, but I'm chasing it. It's lagging, so I'm getting pilot-induced oscillations. And I just get lucky, I get it in phase and land it right at the end. Oop. Okay, I wanted to time normal. The whole reason we watched all this is, well, it looks cool too. That's one reason we watch it. The exterior view just looks cool. Is to see a nice slow touchdown to see what happens. So we can go faster than 1/8 speed. And actually, we can go faster until we get right there. Now we can slow it down. See, we can slow it down a ton. I mean, I think that's a cool feature. Okay, so there. See, it hits early, so I'm hitting it early, which is why it bounces up. I thought, but I had other ones that missed the wires. See, it must have had to come back down before it caught the wire, and I think that was a fourth or third wire. I don't know. Okay, so that's landing number 2. Go to landing. We're not going to show the crash. This is the second time I'm doing this. I forgot to turn on record the first time. And let's make sure. Let's do some tests. I should be hearing some record speaker out. Let's don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, so right here you're going to see me put the throttles at idle. Oh! I hadn't been putting this up. I need to put this up so you can see my, on the left is my throttles. So I'll put them to idle. For some reason they're not, I think they could go down. So there must be some auto throttle keeping them above 69%. I'm not sure that's a bad thing. I don't think I'd really have a reason to get my throttles. I mean, with a little more experience, I might be able to bring a throttle down to 0, down to lower, 50%. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. But when those throttles get real low, they take forever. The engine takes forever to spool up. So with my level, I don't need, the difference in thrust between 70 and 50% isn't that much. And the time to spool up and down that engine is a long time. If I don't know that engine, but I know F5 is. See, speed brake. That's this light right here. I'm putting up speed brake because I'm fast. Where's my cursor? There it is. You'll see a green light come in when I toggle my speed brake. I don't know the plane well enough. I don't know if it's a toggle mode or it's only out while you hold. Wish it was a toggle mode. But it may be when your gear goes down here at landing speeds, it doesn't. If you take your finger off, it comes off. But it's kind of a pain to sit and hold it. But I'm using a lot more than I used to land the F5. I know that. But I'm trying to stay just right on speed. Like right now, I'm slow. I'm putting in throttle. You see, trying to hold that. I just got a feeling that 82, 83 is low and 85, 86, 87 is high. So if I want to climb, it's going to go towards those extremes. If I want to drop, maybe I'll go down to 82. And I'm controlling my vertical drop with the throttle, and then matching it with the stick and trim. And then, okay, so I hadn't changed the flows. We fly towards the yellow. That means, we fly the yellow towards the green. So right now we're above glide slope. So we need to be, kind of glance that velocity vector, get it above where the flows is. But do it by moving that W up to 5 degrees. I don't know if I'd figured that. I don't know what I'm doing. Half the time I got the flows mixed up. If you get mixed up with it for a second, for some reason the view switched. I don't know. So Here we go. We're a little bit low. We're very low, but we re-intercept it. We got in throttle, but we got in too much, which got my airspeed high, but all made up for it. Touchdown perfect. Okay, we'll see what hook we hit. I mean, it says on the file what hook we hit, but this is landing number 2 or 3. This is landing number 3. Yep. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go to external view. Speed up time so you don't have to wait. You're just going to watch the touchdown here. That's the whole purpose of it. And it's cool to just look at the plane. Except it's very twitchy on the views. Unless I pause it. There. Okay. I mean, we're at 5x speed. We could go 10x speed. That red number in the lower right is speed. And then I can go time normal. And then I can start speeding it up again. And then I can go and I can pause it. So we'll go pause it, go time normal, and go 2x. And then we'll pause it, and we'll set our view up to look like. See, I had to put in some speed brake at the last minute. It's just. My impression is, for this carrier landing, it's a precise thing. You're hitting a precise spot, so your airspeed's got to be just, which is in the end your angle of attack. But I'll explain why if I tried to fly that angle of attack thing, and maybe later I will, but for right now, I would just be chasing all over the place. Okay, I want to slow down time. Wrong view. This view. And pause. There we go. Let's get our view. There we go. We'll see what we're at. Half speed. We'll go quarter speed. The view. See, I think the view adjusts at that speed too. So let's see what hook we hit. See, I got my landing light on. Good thing I had it on so I can see missed the first. Oh, it hit the first thing. It didn't look like it hit the ground yet. Okay. So they're trying to hit the third one. And sometimes I had a few where that thing bounced. But maybe, I think one of them that bounced, it was actually dragged across the stern of the carrier, so maybe it wouldn't bounce. But so don't talk. Let's get to the next video. I don't want this to be a 2-hour video because I'm just sitting here talking. Okay, so you're trying to hit the third hook for optimal landing, I hear. I looked up today, and I think I knew, but I just want to double check it. Which is to give yourself margin. If you're trying for the first wire, then you're being dangerous, because if you screw up, you're going to hit the carrier and blow up and all this. Okay, so this is a new one. So the throttles are idle. I need to remember to hit the controls. Gosh, I need a reminder to. It would have been fun to watch that in the external view. My rudders are at the bottom with toe brakes, which you won't see me use. On the bottom, on the right, that little thing is, I guess my trim's in the center, and that's my stick movement, and then that's my throttle to the left. You won't see me doing too much with it now because it's all trimmed up. I'm just getting the tail hook out and getting the flaps down. Hit a couple more switches that may or may not be important. Now, as I was a little late getting the throttles in. What I can be doing, and the speed brakes are over. Speed brakes are right there. You'll see that light go on when those are going out. I think it toggles about, except in landing configuration, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still learning this plane. Don't know how to turn the TACAN, all this stuff. I'd have a lot more information. Could do a proper pattern with that stuff. But this is what I want to talk about. This thing lags. So if this thing lags, this thing moving on it, I mean, it's just going to confuse the hell out of me. And I'm used to watching this from the F-5 T-38. So, it's just going to tell me to check your airspeed, and stuff. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm flying towards that ship first, and then when I just feel like I'm lined up with the runway, I'm not using anything precise. I guess I could go down, and when I see the thing 10 degrees over, I could turn into it, but I don't know what 10 degrees is. The HUD kind of tells me, but anyway. I'm just getting it close and then correcting it as I get closer. This is my steady state. I mean, if I don't make any changes, that's where I'd fly. That's my velocity vector, like I said. Okay, so the glide slope's a little bit above us. So which when it turns on, it's usually above you. And so what I try to do is get a lower, I try to, before it, just fly with the velocity vector around here and it'll intercept it. And then when it intercepts it, bring it down. But I brought it down. Do I bring it down too much? Let's see. I want to keep that velocity vector right at the middle of the carrier. And I want to keep the flows. The main thing is not get too involved. Just the velocity vector and the W above the horizon is telling me where I should be flying. If this thing goes down, I need to put in power and then correct all this and trim up. It should work. I don't know what that beeping was. Here we go. So we're looking okay. I mean, I don't think that thing has to be right on the middle. You just have to be aware of it and correct. I don't know what they weigh people off for, but I do know the spot I'm trying to hit on that carrier and the speed I'm trying to hit it, so that's what I'm shooting for. And yeah, my angle's off a little bit, but it's not gonna, you know, I'm not going to see. It's good enough for government work. There we go. We got the landing in. We'll watch this in fast speed and see what tail thing we hit and stuff like that. So I talked about that AOA indicator. That was the thing next to velocity. You're supposed to fly the AOA, not airspeed. But I think they got to be doing both, to be honest. But I don't know. I mean, I am trying to figure out what works for me. It may not be the optimal way to do it or to train with it, and the way I learn stuff is I don't just follow processes that I don't understand. I figure out, if somebody gives me a process and I figure out why it works. If there's things I question, then I may, well, you're never supposed to modify a process, but but at least you got to experiment, deviate from the process enough to know why it's there and what the effects are if you get off, If you tell me the steps to do this, then if I misdo a step, which you're going to do if you're flying, you're not going to do every step perfectly. So you need to know the effect of it. So you need to understand it. That's how we learn. Anyway, okay. So I'm pretty much trying to get my airspeed here. Yeah, I've got the speed brake out. I learned later, remember to put the throttles out before your airspeed gets there so you don't have to wait for your engines to spool up and lose 100. And I don't know, I really hadn't figured out a methodology for my altitude at first. I was trying to get to around 1,000 feet. Then later I said I could just fly the glide slope down from the higher altitude and get to practice. And then once I never saw the flows come up, so I thought maybe the flows is altitude limited or it's got a range limitation, and I just flew right over it. And it never showed up. So, I mean, actually, the pilot has good enough eyes, and maybe it's more zoomed in, like the zoom's not really working. Maybe this is really more what a real life resolution of your eyes is. I mean, you can zoom way in this game. It's hard to say what the resolution of the human eye is, but he can see that when this flows comes up at maybe not at the altitudes that see that right there. Let's see, I can't tell that that's low. or high. I just see a yellow light and a green, and I don't see it being low or high. But that's what I'm talking about is, let me get this out of his mouth, is this versus this right here. Those lights you see right there. This is that thing zoomed in. And I'm on pretty good slope here. I'm at airspeed. I got 600 knots coming. I'm 600 feet per minute. On glide slope. I am. And I think right towards the end I deviate and I may put in too big a correction. Or it may be, I don't know if it's one of those things that it aids you at the beginning, but towards the end you should fly to the carrier position you want to be on, not the flows, to keep from porpoising and over pilot induced oscillation. You don't know what the technique is that they train. Now here you can probably tell whether it's high or low. I want to look at this and see, because for a second it almost looked like it was giving the opposite information that the other one's given. I can't tell within the resolution of that whether that's if anything, that the yellow looks like it's below the green and DCS has turned it around. I'll have to look at one that I'm low on to see if it's either in the middle or it's slightly low. Oh, and it's showing slightly low here. Okay, so that'd be correct. Okay, it's not high. Okay, let's zoom back to a normal. Well, I'll let y'all. None, there isn't an instrument here that matters, so we might as well just look at the landing. I don't have it zoomed in because the picture seems wrong. So 135. See, it kind of goes away, but that could mean I'm down an inch or something. I don't know, which isn't going to matter in the big picture. Okay, so now we'll look at it from outside the plane. I gotta remember to turn those controls on. Y'all can't figure out anything without looking at my throttle position moving around. I mean, you can read the throttles at the bottom, but it's really helpful for you to see me moving the stick too. So we'll do this one. Oh, it won't show that stuff in the external view. Oh well. So we'll show the external, and I gotta remember next time to hit Control Enter before I start showing this to you. Okay. Zoom it back a little bit, but we're not. Speed up time. So getting all the stuff out, speed flapping down. See my throttle. I'm. What I was talking about is the speed brake was up, and before I hit the 138, I got my throttles up to 83, so I don't have to wait for them, because it'll take a good little while and you'll lose some altitude if you gotta wait. So yeah, that's a good technique, is that, you know, your engines, you can use a speed brake to help you overcome non-instantaneous throttles, you know, by cycling it up or down, and then as you wait for the throttle. Exact technique, I'm not, if you think about it, you can figure it out. If you fly enough, you can. But it can be done. But you're using up fuel too when you do that. But okay, so here we come. We're coming down. We're at 6x speed. Slow down the speed. Let's see how we're doing on this. Why didn't it? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Okay, so we're a little bit low because we fly yellow to green. Yellow is our airplane, green is where we want to be on the glide slope. We're a little bit slow, which means if we get any slower, and we've got a big rate of descent. See if that's instantaneous. Yeah, that's a pretty big rate of descent for that low airspeed. I wonder if I was just coming up from the low airspeed. I'm curious about that. Oh, and I also want to check, did DCS model those lights right? It looks low to me there, so it looks like they modeled it right, but Damn, you'd have to have good eyes to see this far away. I don't know how far away we are. I think this looks... Something about like this looks... I mean, I was in the F5 and I was looking at it and thinking, I can see those damn engine gauges. The default zoom is this. And I looked over the corner. I can't read these engine gauges to save my life. But I could read them in the airplane, so I felt like it's more like that amount of zoom in. But if the game was played like that, you'd have no field of view. So they make the default zoom a little further back. Because we can move our heads and move our eyeballs, you know, to see stuff. And really, you can only read what's in the middle of your eyeball. The rest of it, you can only see shades of contrast, you know, and colors. But we're only seeing things with high detail. When our eyes are pointed at something, we only see the high detail to the point, right, a little space. But you know, but our eyes are trained to just flick over here and glance, you know. And they're also trained to peripheral vision. You can see changes in color, and I mean the brain's amazing. But you know, like you can't read something. You know, if I look at this right here, I can't read this right here. I just know it's a white blob. I can read it. I can't even read this right here when I'm looking at that. I can read this and this. So, but the eyes are made. You know, I'm going into details. But anyway, I think in a plane you're seeing things about this resolution, and you're moving your eyes around the cross check to check everything. Because, yeah. This was an exterior view to see the touchdown, so we'll get time. So we're correcting a little bit of speed. Yeah, we're 140 knots, so we're fast. Oh, that's way too slow. So let's see if we get that speed more on. Throttles are down at 83. I'm afraid to move them lower because earlier, I don't know if it's this one or the other one, I said I didn't recognize this sooner, but when you're this close to the carrier, a number of times I hit the carrier, or I had to do a go around because it got too high because I saw some minor thing that wasn't right. I did a throttle correction, and then the throttles are really hard. I mean, I'm better at it just moving at 2% or something, but if you move the throttles from 83 to 94, which is it's just a difference between a 1/4 inch movement and a 1/3 of an inch movement, and there's a whole travel of, I don't know, about 6 or 7 inches. So you move it the wrong amount, then you put in a bunch of lift that's going to come in about a half second later, and you're going to go high. If you move it too much the other way, you're going to get that airspeed down below 130, and you're going to hit the carrier unless you recognize it real fast. That you probably hit it this close. Further back, you'd see it coming down and maybe bring it up, and you might be able to save the thing, or you might have to do a go around, but probably hit it at this point. So there. We'll see how this landing goes. We'll see what. I'm still coming in. I'm hitting it early. I'm still trying. So it bounces that hook up, and it catches the 4th hook. So that's what's happening. So yeah, so I got to get that side. I got to go for the middle. I'm so used to going for the numbers. When I say the numbers, the very end of the runway, which, usually they're like just a few feet off the ground when they come off the threshold, but they actually touch down way further down after they do a flare. But I'm used to doing a flare before the numbers and touching down at the numbers, which is very dangerous, but I've been playing too many flight sims and stuff, and just perfection. Okay. Quit. Okay, so I think we got one more. I've done pretty good. I'm getting through I hadn't talked about my life as much. I'm doing this to show my thoughts on this landing and teach something, and it's obviously to a new person, because if if you play this game, you understand it. Oh, and there's a mission that sets all this up. So if you don't know how to set up missions, and it's just Caucasus, Carrier 1A landing. I mean, I could almost do one. I'd probably screw it all up, though, if I was talking and doing it. I could do it to the point of go around. I could do one live. Stop recording. I'll do one live after this. I don't need my track IR for this. I'll do one live if I have to go around, but I'm just going to do one. If I have to go around, I'll go around. That's no big deal. As long as I don't die. Yep. Okay, so we put the gear down. And I'm bringing the throttles. Where's my speed brake at? Oh, I don't have time. I got time screwed up. Okay. So there. So I'm putting my speed brake out. Boy, it sure does seem to like slow down. Looks like we got all time in the world to do this. I think I'm getting worried that my gear's not down. Or my hook's not down. That's what checklists are for. Well, yeah, but I'm used to flying a plane. You put the gear down, it beeps, and then you look out later and you see through green. It's confirmed it's down. I think there's a screen you bring up on the MFD that'll say if your gear's actually down and locked. The only indication I got that my gear's down and locked is looking external view or do this, which I don't really have time to do. I don't think where's my view control? Well, I think there's a way. I mean, I could zoom way down here, and now I can. I don't really. It's too dark, so I can't tell that gear's up or down. It's hidden behind that thing, so it's just that red thing. But I can. Okay, in that light, I see it was shadowed. Yeah, but it's not a real good indication. I think the other. I wish there was 3 green on somewhere. There should be a green light somewhere, but there's not. Didn't have no space next. But I think there is. I think there's a screen that tells you the status of everything. I could have had that up in the MFD multifunction display. But it's kind of one thing I don't like about these glass cockpits. But oh well. There's other things I do like about it. It just depends. Okay, so we're on glide slope. I think our speed's good. Our speed's good, but it's tickling in the you're a little bit. You need to get your nose up a hair more. Well, that was at 136 and 140 went the other way. Huh. Because I'm pulling up, trying to fly that plane up to the glide slope. Yeah, that's why. And I'm probably I still hadn't recognized I'm way too fast. It should have power down, be clicking up trim, and at the last minute I do and hit speed brake. Yeah, you see the speed brake coming out. Let's slow this down and talk about it. So I'm fast. I'm hitting the speed brake, but I'm at the point where we're close enough to carry. I'm just going to say we're going to live with it and give it a try, which is somewhat dangerous. But if I can get that nose up there, I should lose a little bit of speed. So it's dropped down to 138. I'm afraid to touch my throttles this close. But they somehow went up to 84. Why did they go? And then they went. So I must have touched them. Yeah, and then the last minute I chopped. Because a little bit, because I knew I was high, and I hit right down at 131. I wish I would have watched I didn't see the touchdown speed. Because that's a good indication of everything. Is, did you hit down at 500 feet per minute, or I think you're supposed to hit at 700. And I'm not sure yet. I thought I heard some person say you're supposed to do a little nose up right at the last minute, so that would that drop that 700 to 300 or so. I mean, it's not a flare. It's you hit, but 700 feet, that's a lot. Yeah, and I think they're rated at 1,500. I mean, I'm sure they're rated 1,000 feet per second. I'm sure there's safety factors on it to another 500 feet per minute. Okay, so we'll watch this one. The last one we'll watch in external mode. So yeah, so the DCS says I got 3 hours in this. I thought I flew it more, but well, I probably spent more time, but actual flying, no. I mean, there's getting in the menus and all that, watching the views. Yeah, I watched a lot of most of my. Okay, so that's the things I'm hitting. Hit that. So this is 3 hours. I probably flew it to an hour at most then, because I flew it a lot more today than I did those first 5 ones. I didn't even know what the controls were. I didn't know how to put the hook down. I searched all over the flaps and just said, I hope the auto flaps are working. Surely it'd put the flaps down when you got slow, but who knows? I mean, generally, this isn't true for every plane, but generally you get max lift at half flaps. At full flaps, you're getting drag too. So for a landing, you do like those flaps because it lets you put in power to be on the power portion. But that's a general airplane. You don't know that. You don't know that they modeled that. And it may not be true for that plane. Sorry, I hope my voice is coming through good. I moved my head. Okay, so we're at 135, which is what I want to see. I want to see this thing in the... I'm not watching it that... I mean, if it goes up to the top and sits there, yeah, then I'll check my airspeed and get some power in. You fly power to go up and down. And if you ever read the book Stick and Rudder, they talk about in a plane. Actually, power controls up and down, and your stick controls your airspeed. That's how it ends up being. But there's, yeah, you pull back on the stick and you go up, but you start losing airspeed. And when you lose the airspeed, you lose the lift, and you eventually start going down. So you pull back, but you go down. But if you put the power in and match with the stick input, you would get a climb. And well-designed planes actually, if you put a little throttle input in, if you push it forward, it'll pitch up a little bit, and if you pull it back, it'll pitch down. It'll almost aid you in doing that. And so, anyway. Okay, so we're right. The ball's right centered. We're at 135, which I'm pretty happy with. I'm not close enough. I guess I need to start glancing up here to say, if you're within 5 degrees of 350, don't worry about left and right. Just fly towards the carrier. You're aligned enough with the runway. Unless there's winds. There's no winds here. But okay, so now the glide slope's coming over us, so I'm correcting coming up, but I've put in too much power for that. Somehow my airspeed got up. Maybe when I got low, I could have dropped my nose, and that could have built the airspeed. But whatever, I gotta fix this airspeed. So I'm not sure how I can be fast and be. I must not be on glide slope because I can be fast and my angle of attack be. So I'm probably, this thing's up here, which means I'm closer to stall condition. But I managed to do it again. Okay, so, and I'm not looking at the, and I didn't show the control inputs again. I really need to be doing that so you can see the throttle moving around and stuff. Sorry guys. I have to hit control, and it's not going to help a lot. I mean, okay, I'll show the exterior, but this is what I'm forgetting. I did it on some of them, but I forgot most of them to do this. Which is, I was flying at a, it's not that critical on this one, but I'm not watching it that much. There's not any useful. On a helicopter, I'd probably have it in and know where my trim's set. But it's this thing over here. This tells you what my throttle's doing. And my throttle's just, I just put it idle and did 2 clicks up, trim, maybe 1 click, pull my hook out, looked at my airspeed, put my speed brake out. Sometimes start bringing my throttles up before the speed brake takes me down to, oh yeah, and then put my gear down at 200, below 250. You probably put down 300. I don't know what the rated number of the gear is on this plane. Could be 250. 270 on the T-38. But, you know, maybe smaller planes would be 200. I think it was 200 on the T-37. It may have been 250. I can't remember. I know on the F-5 it's 270, and it's got to be the same as T-38 as F-5. And I use those two interchangeably because the designs are so similar. The F-5's got a little newer engine. It's got a little more power, but it's got more systems, so that weight offsets the extra power. When it's just got ammo, they fly. I'm sure they fly in a similar way. It seems to be able to reach a high speed. I've got the Mach number up a little higher than I think the T-38 would go. I think T-38 would barely go transonic, so I think those bigger engines, if you don't have it loaded. But we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about the landing here. Are we redoing this one again? Or we? I think we're showing it again, but we'll keep showing it again. See what have I covered? Since this will be the last one, the next one will be external. Okay, so I hadn't told you, there's plenty. I mean, there's lots of Grim Reapers does, and others do. Lots of people do videos, but there's ways to set up the TACAN. Okay, so we're coming on. Set up the TACAN, and there's videos on how to do the Navy pattern. But at the end of it, you're gonna have to do this landing part. So let's first learn to land the damn thing. So yeah, we're on glide slope. We've intersected it. We're on speed. So can we stay on speed? Can we stay on glide slope? This thing says we're a little bit flat. But I guess when that thing tells me something, then I need to glance at where this thing is on the velocity vector. Yeah, now it's saying I'm a little bit stalled. I'm towards the stall end of it. But when it's up high, the light's going off up high, it's saying put your nose down. When it's down low, it says pick your nose up. So we're very fast, and I'm hitting the speed brake. I'm seeing that, and I'm pulling out just a little bit of throttle. But you don't. If I was to take that down to 78, next thing you know, I'm going to be at 127 knots and crash into the stern of the carrier. So I need to get that speed out of there because you're not going to catch that hook at. But we got 400 foot per second drop. I'm watching the feet per second drop here. But it ends up, we hit it 1,000 feet per second diving into it. It's probably the rated limit of that gear. I don't know what Navy gear is rated at, but you're supposed to be at 700 on the glide slope. So you probably hit it less. Wasn't a very good landing. But that's the first one I looked at what speed I actually hit at. So who knows? So we'll show this from the exterior and we'll be done. But we'll get better at these. I got enough time to practice these. Okay, so let's get to an exterior view. Speed up time. It's a little harder to adjust the view when time gets sped up. Okay, so we got our gear and shit coming out, tail hook. Landing lights on, which doesn't matter, but there was a tail hook thing, and then I don't know why it said to turn the anti-skid off, but I thought I saw somebody say that. I watched two videos, one on how to do the Navy pattern. Really both of them how to do the Navy pattern with the last part coming in for the landing. We're at 3x. We go. Isn't that a cool looking plane? This is a high fidelity, they call this, they're $75 models, which go on sale. But you can tell the graphics are much better than the F-5 in it, I guess. I mean, does it really matter? I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, there's some stain marks on the wing, and yeah, it looks nicer, but it's even the lower quality ones are good enough that I'm impressed with the graphics. So enough to immerse me. That's all that really matters. But you get a few other things with this versus the F5. I can't do aerial refueling in F5. I probably couldn't do a competitive dogfight. It's just not. It's just power to weight ratio is too bad, and other stuff. And I guess this thing with those big strakes will do a lot of angle off shooting, and it doesn't have any. It's only got a couple of sidewinders. It doesn't have a radar, so you can't do any AMRAMs. So yeah, so and then when you go to guns, I mean, it's not got the turn rate or power to weight ratio. Its only advantage is it's little and hard to see. I don't know how good its angle off is, but I can't imagine having the same. It's definitely not got the energy. It's not got the power of like an F-15 or. And this isn't a power to weight fighter, but it's more of a turning and angle off. But it's going to way outpower the F5. I mean, if it comes into an energy fight, this thing's going to beat an F5, and anything can beat an F. But an F5 was designed in 1955, and I mean the T-38 was they were doing design in the 50s, and then they entered into service in the late 50s or mid. I mean its competition was a MiG. I mean it was an improvement over the MiG 15 and the U.S. counterpart, the our jet. I mean, and it was to train people to land all the jets. You see all those jets with little skinny wings, and they were all interceptors. They were Mach 2 fighters. It was made to train people to land at 200 knots and to recognize the and people were dying in training because they were used to flying props from World War II. So it was made to train them. This is how you fly a high-speed jet, Now they've got leading-edge flats and slats, and and it just lands. I don't know. They land slower now. They have HUDs. They have fly-by-wire. Okay, we're in the landing mode now. Let's get our view set up. See what we hit. I don't know, do we want to see what wire we hit or just look at a pretty landing? I mean, maybe we'll just look at a pretty landing for this one. Maybe we can see both here. So, 1, 2, 3, fourth wire. I hadn't taken one of these off. I landed it for it. I mean, takeoff is the easiest thing to do in the world. But the only mission, and so yeah, I'll show one more thing. So this is done. Quit. So these are all, there's one mission. It's the only mission I've done on this plane. And I had them labeled on my KA-50, and I was getting mixed up with my landings on that and this, so I had to. So these numbers aren't exactly right on the number of tries. It's kind of my guess, and adjusted and second adjusted, and I think I had one landing before it. So I mean, I may have done it 3 times. But it may have been my 3rd try. It may have been my 8th try. It may have been my 3rd hook. It may have been my 1st. I'm pretty sure it's a 2nd, but then these, I got less confidence in these. I was just kind of, I think I did 3 tries after that. I think I did 8, I think. And then after that, like the numbers started out at 6, 8, 12, 14. But I was adding to, I had a KA-50 landing that I was adding to. So I was, said no, this, so I have to, so I took 3 off each one, but then I forgot the amount I took off each one. So, these numbers could be plus or minus, by the end 5, But I don't think I tried it 32 times. I mean, in 3 hours, I don't think so. But anyway, we'll see. So here's the mission that is. It's, Caucus comes with the thing, and if you pick the F-18C, and I'll do it real quick. We'll do it once and then we'll go. And if I screw it up, I'm going to go around and go because this video is getting long. So we're going to go throttles to idle. Hit those switches over there. We'll just do it. I don't know if I can do it with people watching. So this isn't recorded, this is live, so I bring the throttles back. It seems to be holding trim. We'll get a little bit of tilt to go the other way. Go down here, hit our switches. 1, 2, 3. They seem to go on opposites. Hit over here. Okay, let's look back in the cockpit. Let's get our speed brake out. Okay, we're slow enough to put our gear down. There's something red happening over there. Let's look back in the cockpit. Let's put our speed brake. I can't do them both at the same time. Oh, and the flaps are coming in, so the nose wants to go up, and I'm claiming. We just hold this down, and now let's get some throttle in. Not too late. Yeah. Let's hit this so you can see my throttles. Oh, I hit another button, so I got to get out of that mode. Exit F12. Okay. So yeah, so now we can get this speed adjusted with the throttles, maybe. Yeah. I mean, let's trim it up. There's some trim things that need to happen. Throttles are a little bit slow for this. We're going to need a little bit more throttle since we're going to do level flight first. Let's up. We're getting on the slow side here. Let's don't get too slow. And we still have to go down a little bit anyway. So now, see, we're porpoising. We're behind with our throttles. We're probably close enough. We need to look for the carrier. And yeah, we probably need. Let's just stay in the middle between these two. Let's don't accept the 142. I know I'm going to screw this up because I'm going to be talking while I'm doing this. $85. Okay, we're right on glide slope. We're going at 500 foot per minute. I'm going to accept this. It says we're close enough to 350. I'm happy. Okay, we need to get up a little bit. No, we need to get down. We fly down to it. So let's get those throttles down to 83. Let's hit in and click a trim. But let's keep an eye on airspeed. We don't want to. It still says I'm high, so we're going to aim just a little bit low. But now, see, I let those throttles get ahead of me. I could have done that speed brake and avoided all that. So now we're at 135. So now we're getting into a throttle problem here. We hit the wrong button there. Let's just do some speed brake and fix this problem. Speed brake, fix it, and please. What is beeping? Damn it! I need to be flying down to it. Still fast. What's it take to lose the speed? Damn it! There we go. Okay, we're 80. We're there. Right there. We're a little bit high, but it just does not want to seem to fly. Oh man, I need to get more speed out of it. Maybe I'm carrying too much throttle. See, every time I take throttle out, I get way short. Oh, we missed it. Yeah, and I took the throttle out. See, I told you. Okay, so let's see how it messed up right at the end. I got a little bit fast and messed up at the end. So we'll watch this one and see what the mistake was and learn something. And then we'll go. I said if I did a go around, we're not trying it again. So, but it missed the tail hook. So everything seemed to go pretty good at the beginning. Speed up. And I think we got fast, which put our nose flat, and we either hit late. And it was telling us the glide slope was below us too. So we intercepted it pretty well, but we need to bring that velocity vector down. Bring it down. We're gonna have to take out throttle, and then we got a little bit slow, which scares me to death because I get on the back side of the power curve. But then I put in too much after I got slow. So we need to get time normal. Let's get time at half speed since we're analyzing. So we're 5 knots high, 4 knots high, maybe 5 knots high. We are above glide slope. Oh, above glide slope should put you a ladder wire. Wouldn't be in the. You're just gonna miss the wires. I think we're just gonna watch the touchdown on this. Just slow down time 2 more so I can switch views. And then we'll just look at the touchdown here. See, we can probably tell a lot by looking at that touchdown. So that looks about the right nose high we want. We want to be about 5 degrees nose high on this. Zoom back. And let's resume. Let's get time back to something reasonable. Oh, it kept, I think it keeps it. So now it looks like we're not nose high enough. So let's see what happened here. What was the problem? I don't know if we need to be at 1/8 speed. Right here. Did I come short again? Yeah, I'm coming in short again. But it said we were high off the glide, so how could that? So I bounced. Yeah, or that hook bounced. I mean, that hook came in, so I was very short with that. Huh, I would have been waved off on that one. Wow. That's harder than I thought. I mean, I used to think everybody talks about carrier landings. Well, I mean, it's just a landing, you don't flare. Everybody can hit a spot when they're landing. But they're harder. You have to hit that spot at right, that was correct. Well, I'll say AOA. It's not really AOA. It's the aircraft's got to be at the right attitude at the right speed. And your AOA's within that just because of everything else derived. But and you know, you could be pitching and stuff. I mean, there's the intimidating part. It's just far away, you can't see what you're aiming at. But they're harder than I thought. And I guess the flight sims I played before were too simplistic because there's a lot of physics modeled. I saw that tail hook's bouncing if you don't hit it right. That's interesting. Okay. Well, there's a go around. I'm hitting 1 out of 5 of them, so. But it doesn't take a lot to mess one up. Okay.